What is up, guys? GrandeHustleTrader here. Just wanted to go live for a bit to break down the pound USD trade I took on this past Friday during NFP news. I normally don't like taking trades on these high impact news events. One, it's extremely risky, and two, it's just not worth the risk sometimes unless the odds are extremely in your favor. But to be able to even determine that, you have to really know what you're doing. You got to really know and understand price action, have certain key levels marked off, understanding where you're going to enter and exit. So it's a combination of things that you got to take into consideration before even thinking about jumping into a trade during these high impact news events, especially NFP. So again, I don't normally do this kind of trading on these days, but this was a sweet setup. I had just been anticipating for most of the week already. All the signals were there, all the key levels were there. So let me go ahead and get started and break that down for you guys, all right? So let's go ahead and jump into the charts here. Let me see. All right, so the first thing I'm going to do is jump to the higher time frame. As I normally do when I analyze anything, I'm always starting on the weekly. Sometimes I'll look at the monthly just to mark out the key levels, but for the most part, I'll do analysis starting on the weekly. So obviously this candle hadn't printed yet. That's this week already. This is last week's candle that closed on Friday. So obviously this big old move hadn't happened yet prior to NFP. We were trading somewhere around this zone here. So my thinking coming into the trade was, as you can see, prior weeks, overall it's in a bearish trend, but these last few weeks that bearish trend has kind of come to a standstill. You can see this bullish candle here took a big dip to the downside, pulled back aggressively. Following week we did have a push that closed below that candle, but again also took liquidity to the upside before closing to the downside. Following candle was a small bullish candle. It made a lower low, closed below this low, but we didn't take out this weekly old low. So that's the first sign of this bearish trend starting to come to an end. The following candle was bearish. It did close below this candle, took out the liquidity above that high, came back down and took out the liquidity below, came back up, pulled back up pretty hard. So that was another clue that made me realize that, you know what, this week that we're in should give us a good bullish candle. There's obviously liquidity above this last high, a lot of orders pending in that zone, and then we had this key level here, this weekly price imbalance. The low of this candle had created a gap, right? So price had only traded up to this point. It did not close in this gap here. So right away I knew, okay, first zone they're going to take is this weekly old high for the current candle, and the next zone that they should take is above this candle, which would give us a quick fast move to this weekly price imbalance, which ICT calls a fair value gap. To keep things more simple for me, I just like to call it a price imbalance. It's the same thing. So I'm going to go ahead and drill down to the daily. Alright, so this candle hadn't happened yet. This is Friday's trading here. So Thursday, we took out that high of the week, right, for the current week. Candle closed slightly above it. So that was already another added confluence for our trade, for that buy trade. Obviously, we're turning bullish already. This is the start of the week that started bullish. Tuesday made that high of the week, came back for that reversal. Wednesday made that lower low, pulled back aggressively. So again, on the daily level, you can see how the bearish move is coming to an end pretty much. This daily order block here was tapped once, made an attempt to come down, failed, made another attempt to tap it, failed, pulled back aggressively. So those are all good indicators that we are going to form a bullish move pretty soon. So this was Thursday's trading. The bullish move began. I know a lot of retail traders were thinking, because I saw this online everywhere, they wanted to continue going short. They start doing these markups with this silly supporting resistance, thinking that it's just going to be a retest to this zone here. Retest and another drop. But again, if you understand smart money concepts, you understand price structure, market structure, you'd know better than that, and you can't really trust these support and resistance strategies when it comes to stuff like this. Smart money is always going to win, man. Support and resistance traders are going to get taken out every single time. So again, this is a daily view. We had things going in our favor. If I drop down to the 4-hour view, this is today's trading. Alright, so here we can kind of see that what traders like to call a bullish flag, right? So you have the huge move to the top side, you have a pullback, but then you have this consolidation range starting to form this little triangle here, right? Looks kind of like a little flag. That's another common indicator that we can expect a bullish move to the top side, right? And as you can see, none of these candles here, there's clean support here, right? We got a pullback. It doesn't make a lower low. It doesn't even break below this low here. This is an order block that was tested once, pulled away, failed to come back to the order block. Next candle went bullish, made a small low, failed to come near the order block. So this entire zone was held, right? Next candle comes down. They break below the close of these candles, but it doesn't break below these lows, these wicks, right? These tails. Pulls back up above this zone. So that's an immediate indication that it's very likely that we're going to have a bullish move, right? If I drill down to the 1 hour, before I even do that, this whole level here, this big old gap, is a price imbalance. Price had gone basically about to the 50% level, pullback, made an equal high here. So there's liquidity above the zone. These are equal highs. So that's another target that's forming in real time that we can safely assume that price is going to want to take out to the upside. Again, because there isn't any lower lows being made. As you can see here, we're climbing up slowly. Coming down to the 1 hour marker, 1 hour charts this Friday. This was my trade plan that I sent out to all my members in my free Telegram channel. We had entered the buy for GU as of Thursday. This was a trade that was running risk-free, running in profits, and Thursday I gave them a re-entry, which is a second trade here. This first trade almost got stopped out, very close to being stopped out, but did not. Pulled away. This 1 hour price imbalance here, this candle's high here, held that support, right? We can see price came down, tapped into it, pulled away. So this was a re-entry buy setup for all my members. That is for free in my Telegram channel. I'll give you the link in a bit. So as you can see, price came down, almost tried to retest the zone, and then we see the pull away from this consolidation zone. If you look at price for the end of the Thursday session, you can see they made this high here, and they're clean highs, so you can tell that's going to be an important high, right? It's coming to Friday's trading Asian session, early pre-London. You can see price broke above. Let me drill down to the 15. You'll get a better view here. All right, here we go. So when you drill down to the 15-minute chart, this was a big indicator for me that, so you can see this bullish candle closed pretty clean to the top, but then it immediately reversed. So we formed some clean resistance at this area. This candle came up to that zone exactly, pulled down. Next green bullish candle broke above it but closed below, and then you have these clean highs here. So I was looking at that level as a possible run of liquidity, right? So as price begins to develop into Friday's session, this is early Asian session, we made our low here right at this price imbalance, which was already marked up the day prior. Price held beautifully, continued to push higher, and as you can see here, early pre-London, we made that exact same high that we already had here. We had a small pullback, eventually broke out of that, took out that liquidity, and at this point it almost looked like it was going to turn bearish. This can be seen as a false move up, and this strong move to the downside was pretty much the actual false move. trying to trap traders to continue to go short. So we had this strong move to the downside, but as you can see, price failed to close below this zone here. And I thought to myself, this is a 20 pip trade stop loss, which we always use for our trades. If I am wrong, price would have had to have closed below this stop, and that would have made it pretty concrete for me as me being just incorrect with the whole trade idea in general. But because price held, we came down into this price imbalance, pulled away quickly, and as these next candles begin to develop, you see the strong push, fast push to the top. And after that, it's pretty much history. NFP news came out at 8:30 a.m. New York, which is this big green candle here. We were already in profits before that. As you can see, our entry was at 87. Before the price even took off drastically because of NFP news, we were already up 40 pips. These two targets, first target is 20 pips, second target is 40 pips. Price was already trading above that. So we're already up 40 pips on this trade, re-entry trade, and this original trade is already up more than that. That entry was at 77. So from 77 to 27, what is that? 27, 30 pips. It's over 50 pips. So you have two big winning trades here. News comes out. We have that mad dash to take out, as I mentioned earlier, the weekly old high, which is here. This was a 1 hour order block, completely taken out. And price is continuing to push higher and higher. So again, this is one of those setups that it's kind of hard to shy away from. And just knowing the fact that news is pretty much used as an excuse to push price in which direction they want to push it to. And just knowing that is enough to make me want to dive into these kind of setups, because there's so much just going in your favor. The analysis was on point. Every single chart from the higher time frame to the lower time frame was indicating buys. Key levels were holding. You know, everything was there in our favor. So again, I don't normally take these kind of trades on NFP news because it is very risky, but in these type of situations, when you have so much going for you, there's a lot of confluences lining up, it's a trade that I have to take. And as you can see, this one panned out beautifully. We cashed over 150 pips. So if you have any questions, man, feel free to message me. I'm available on TradingView. I have my Telegram channel. I'll go ahead and share that with you right now real quick. I'll go ahead and type it here on the screen for you guys. Give me a second. Alright guys, here it goes. There it is, fellas. If y'all want to check out my channel, it's a free channel. I put out free trade setups on a weekly basis. Quality over quantity, man. I don't dish out multiple setups per day. That's just not a profitable way of trading. So I do look for quality setups, and those are the ones I'll share on my channel. Feel free to hop in. If y'all have any questions, hit me up on the channel. Till the next time, y'all take care.